Hey friends, I had a funny moment yesterday when I was going to make one of these videos and then my wife came in and she needed to get something from the room and she was around for a few minutes and just sitting in my chair waiting for her to be done, I got I lost the motivation to make the video. Like I had something on my mind, and in the few minutes while I was sitting down, I guess I was scrolling through Twitter. I don't know if I got distracted or something else, but like the moment passed and I didn't feel like making that video anymore. I ended up doing other things and then later in the day made a different video about something else entirely. I can't even remember what that video was going to be about. But it's interesting to go through this process and to witness my creative process, which is very much um dependent on the mood of the moment. I've written, like people will say things like, "Oh, you should try having a daily practice and you should try making a plan." I have, when I was 20, I used to go to Starbucks and I would write yeah, I would plan out a series of articles that I wanted to write, series of blog posts, and I would plan them and I would write them and they would be okay. I was pretty proud of myself for getting those done. I remember I wanted to do a lot of posts about gamification and I wanted to do a lot of posts about the seven deadly sins, and just I had all these things planned out. And I did it for work as well when I started work at my last company and I was writing content to sell software. And yeah, we would have content marketing plans. And even then, the best performing content that we had was something that I had written on impulse. Right. So this is a recurring truth that I know about the way I do things, which is that the most valuable things I do never happen according to plan. But there's this like general wisdom that you should have some kind of a plan and you should have this, you should be trying to pump out B quality material, B plus material, because you can't live on a few fleeting A's once in a while. Maybe, I don't know. It could be that it's a function of time. I do think it's preferable to be a person who is continually producing stuff, even if the stuff isn't super high quality, as opposed to kind of waiting and hoping that one day you'll make something great. That's just you won't develop the chops you need that way. And I mean, I've made my peace with this because I've written hundreds of thousands of words. I've done my work. At this point, I don't think my writing is limited, like my paragraph by paragraph writing is limited by um like technical ability. I don't think my sentences are affected by technical ability. Maybe my imagery and stuff, because I've been writing mostly non-fiction type stuff, and I could probably, if I wanted to write fiction, I could experiment with getting more flowery. But I bet I could do that well, and that the hard part for me is really there's some challenges to doing really big scale things that I've never done before. So like writing a novel, or even writing an ebook, because I'm working on an ebook right now, and it's challenging for me because it's a large piece of information architecture. It's a lot of, and like each individual sentence can make sense, but like to order the sentences, ordering 1,000 sentences is qualitatively different than ordering 100 sentences. It's a different game. You have to do different things, and it's a different game to learn. But that's not what I wanted to talk about. What I wanted to talk about was I think so. Some people say there are two kinds of writers. There are the pantsers and the plotters. So the plotters make plots and the pantsers fly by the seat of their pants. And and I think people recommend a hybrid approach of some kind, unless you're like a plotter all the way through. And for me, I think I am like in my natural state, at my best I am a pantser. Like I'm all my best stuff happens in like this more flash of inspiration, and or even the word inspiration sounds like it's something divine, but it's something like somebody pissed me off, somebody annoyed me, or somebody said something that surprised me, or I saw something that just gave me some kind of flash of insight, like just something made me wanna respond. And it's that respond, I guess you could say that's a bit reactionary, but like so there's this impulse to respond. But the cool thing is, before I respond, I already have like this battlefield or this map of all of the things that I'm interested in, right? So like there was an idea of what I could write. So when I write a blog post in response to somebody, right, or I write a Twitter thread in response to somebody, or I make a video in response to somebody, while it is done in that moment in reaction to that thing, I am also always thinking about the bigger picture and how that thing fits within my body of work. And sometimes if something seems like it's just not gonna make sense in my body of work, sometimes I just drop it. Sometimes maybe I just talk to my wife about it, or I text a friend about it, or I write some notes about it and forget about it. But if I'm gonna publish something, it usually means that I've thought about it enough, and this doesn't need to be like very deliberate at this point. It's like, it's almost like a just, am I feeling it or am I not? Is it yes or is it no? And do I feel like publishing it? Then I publish it. And have I regretted anything I've published? A couple of things maybe, like, but it's like 1 in 100, 1 in 1,000 kind of thing. It's very rare. And even those things, it's like, oh, I published something prematurely, or I didn't edit it enough, or and even those things, like, I say I didn't edit it enough, but like if I introduce an editing process to my output, I would probably just not publish as much, which would break my process. So it's like 1 in 100 or 1 in 1,000. I should decide which is one in several hundreds. Let's say 1 in 300, right? If 1 in 300 of my threads or blog posts or videos or whatever, I say something wrong, and I get criticized for it, which is like fair. Like, I get people call me out for not being correct enough or good enough or whatever. Like, that's a cost I have to bear. Like, it's the cost of my process, because if I try to eliminate that, the cost that I would incur to eliminate that would tank my whole process. You get it? So that's fun. But I accept it, and the thing is, for me, really just to keep making stuff. And the way for me to make stuff is to navigate by feeling. And if I sit down and try to think about what I should make in the moment, it tends to not work that well. With this video, I was actually planning to make another video before I sat down, but when I sat down, I was going to do the preamble. I did the preamble, like, when I say what I mean by preamble, I was going to before I was going to make the video that I was going to make, I was going to talk a little bit about my process. And it just felt like there's some part of me that wanted to talk about my process. So I decided to, hit stop and start and stop. I started about like maybe 5 or 6 videos for like 10 seconds. I'm like, I'm not going where I want to go with this. And then, like, I don't know how many times, 5, 6, 7 times. And then I'm like, okay, I want to spend a video talking about my process. So this is my process, right? Which is kind of chaotic, but there is a rhythm to it. There is a method to it, but it's not conscious. I mean, I can be conscious about it periodically and reflect on it and think about, maybe I should do more this, maybe I should do more prep, maybe I should read my notes before I make a video, or maybe I should have some notes to look at, on my hand or whatever while making these videos. Like, I can do those things, but I cannot really plan the content in the moment. I mean, I can if I had to, like, professionally, but I prefer not to. And I think what I'm thinking about these videos and my tweets and my blog posts is I'm really trying to cultivate my sensitivity. I'm really trying to get more and more sensitive to what is exciting, what I have strong feelings about, and this is how I develop taste, right? And that nuance and refinement is something that I think compounds as you get better at it. And I am making a bet that if I continue to cultivate this for the next 10, 20, 30 years, right? So if I continue to cultivate this for 30 years and then I am 60, so let's say in my 60s, at that point I have so much taste, I hope, right, that I can write a great novel, maybe, potentially. But that's not the goal. The goal isn't to write the novel. The goal right now is really just to cultivate taste for the sake of it, so that I enjoy the videos that I make. And I feel that if I enjoy the videos that I make, then people will appreciate watching them. Even if, this video could be edited better. I know I repeated myself a couple of times. I didn't plan out where I'm going to go. But if I had to do all of those things, I probably wouldn't make the video. It would take me too long. So I really have to just keep making more and more videos. And with each subsequent video, so rather than edit a video that I just made, it makes more sense for me to draft it better the next time. That's how I do it. If you have any questions about my creative process, comment and let me know, and let's chat. Done.